Hi guys, slap my ass, Ulgrim is my daddy here, and here I am indeed to teach you the ins and outs of this Dr. Eggman knockoff once and for all, so that you guys can kiss that sweet, sweet gold goodbye and start seeing that platinum, baby. Oh my god, what a line, my god. Ulgrim's stats are 6 attack, 3 dexterity, 7 defense, and 6 speed. Feel free to go rather speed stance or defense stance. Both are pretty good because 8 defense is just fucking massive sometimes, and the difference between 2 and 3 dex isn't very big, so speed stance is basically a free speed boost. His weapons are axe and lance, making this dwarf guy quite the heavy hitter. His skins are literally Ulgrim with a space mask Ulgrim, Golem from Terraria Ulgrim, WoW LARPing Ulgrim, Dragonborn Ulgrim, and the good one. His lore is this. Enjoy it, my friend, because I won't, because that's the shitty joke I've come up with for the lore. Anyway, I say a lot of jargon and stuff that may or may not be confusing to certain beginners that aren't accustomed to fighting games or context clues. So if you find yourself in one of these predicaments, then it must be Christmas because it is your lucky day. Because boy, do I got the video for you. I already happened to, make a nice little guide about the absolute bareback basics of the game. So even a baby like you can figure them out. So feel free to check out the video in one of the many ways I've probably linked it to you, and check that out if you would like. Anyway, let's start with learning about axe, shall we? So this first part is going to be me detailing the basics of axe, i.e. axe light attacks, as well as literally every single read, string, and combo that I could possibly think up or come up with all at once. So if you're new to axe or just want a detailed refresher, feel free to stick around. If you're already good at the game, then skip this part of the video, you mother freaking monkey bitch. First, here's the rundown of all the light attacks that axe has. Your attacks are neutral light, side light, down light, neutral air, side air, down air, recovery, and ground pound. This is neutral light. You remain stationary while doing the swiping motion in front of you. This has very few startup frames, making it a great punish, as well as just like an attack to throw out every now and then. However, there's also quite a bit of recovery frames, making it also relatively punishable if you miss. Besides punishing, it's pretty good for side dodge reads because you literally just have to turn to the direction you think they're gonna dodge to and then land this basically instantaneous attack, and then you're pretty much alright. Now, here are the strings. You can do neutral light, chase dodge, side light, which is just a standard lowish dodge frame string that can actually lead to a pretty big combo, which we'll talk about later. Another option is to do neutral light straight into side light as a nice inwards dodge read. Keep in mind, side light is pretty easy to punish, so try to get their dodge pattern down before trying this out blindly. Neutral light is also a fantastic ledge guarding tool because it kind of catches people on the ledge. Use it, it is very nice. So go and stand. Stand with me, please. I give this attack a 8 out of 10, baby. This is side light. It causes Ulgrim to take a step forward and swing his axe way in front of him to frick some things up. Side light is your main string starting attack on Axe's kit. It sets you up just right to land some pretty nasty strings and reads on mother frickers if you're good enough. However, to seemingly offset this hugely useful move, it's also very punishable, especially if you just whip it out whenever. Daddy. Also, you have some combos. So let's talk about those, huh? You have side light neutral air, and that is a combo that gives you so much read potential that it's not even funny. Side light down light is another option, but it's way less versatile. Side light side air works as an excellent punt at higher damages. Landing this true is a bit of a bitch though, especially at high damages that you probably want to use it at. So I would, practice this a little bit before trying it out. Now it's time to go through all the different reads you can do with axe. So if you want to do a jump read or upwards dodge read, right? Rather recovery after you jump, because I can't fucking do it right, like that, right? Or you can do one of these. You can jump and ground pound. Or you can even do one of those. And then, if you land another neutral light like that, you can start attempting to juggle. Jump recovery is more committal towards the upwards direction, while ground pound just kind of reads everything. So it all really depends, but recovery definitely has more killing power. So for the side, you have a couple of options. So the first one, if I can land it, is to gravity cancel. Okay, Okay. There it is. Okay, so if they dodge to the side, you can do a gravity cancel side light, and then you can string multiple of these fucking things at once, and that's just unbelievable. And so you can get a huge kill combo. That guy was yellow, and now he's fucking orange with a single read. With a single side read, I got all of that damage on him. If you want like a less committal version of that, oops, that was the wrong thing. You can also do like a side air, I guess. But I would honestly just stick to this all the time, because that's also kind of harder to land that. But there you go. That's another side read if you really wanted to do it that way instead. So for an inwards dodge read, you usually want to just go for ground pound, honestly. Because ground pound really reads like a lot of shit. It is easily the safest read to do off of a side light down air, because like you're not getting punished for it like 9 times out of 10, and you're gonna hit it more often than not as well. You can also, if I can land this, you can also do like a down air if you want. Another thing for the jump read that I just remembered is that you can do a... Okay, why can't I do it? Alright, just... Okay, just trust me on this. Gravity cancel down light, but I don't know... Oh my god, I can't do it. Holy shit. There it is. Holy shit. Now for a downwards read, I'm pretty sure you can still do, like, ground pound, and it'll still land. Oh my god. Okay, no. If you want to do a downwards read with ground pound, you have to instantly ground pound like that. Wait, can you... Okay, you can do that for a downwards dodge read, which is just side air immediately. But that's like a very dangerous read for not a lot of reward. And then I could have... Okay, there you go. You can do down air, but it's a lot more difficult than I thought it would be. One more thing you can do for like a down read is gravity cancel neutral light. So mainly for a spot dodge read, I would still go with ground pound, because it's literally perfect for it. But you can do other things as well. There it is. You can do neutral light as well for the dodge read, but I would honestly just keep on it. Okay, in conclusion, just always use ground pound is what I'm really getting at without telling you. And then you also have a couple other good reads as well. And there you go. That's the bread and butter of reading after neutral air. One thing that's nice about downlight that I didn't really get into though is the fact that you're still on the ground, making it neutral air juggling a lot more viable since you have 3 jumps still. Unlike whenever you're doing a neutral air where you've already used 1 jump just to literally just like to get in the air. So you get an extra jump, which gives you more opportunity to juggle. If you really wanted to kill off of it, I would jump recovery, but honestly, the chances of you actually hitting that are very low. What's better to do is to jump up in the air and ground pound, because it reads more things and it still hits pretty far. But you can also try to like read like a side air or just like a side air as well, if you really wanted to. But that's basically what you want to do for downlight. Now, let's talk about the rating. I also give this one an 8 out of 10 because it's dang. It's a Kendrick Lamar satisfying to use when you get the chance. Isn't that neat? And now here is downlight, and it's a very, very fast diagonal attack, making it a pretty gosh darn good anti-air attack and pretty awesome for ledge guarding. Note that it's pretty impossible to hit someone on the ground with this attack though. The hitbox seems to just barely not land against grounded opponents, so I would stick away from it. But the in the air kind of guys though, yeah, feel free to spam the ever-living shit out of it in this case. All the reads are the same as the sidelight downlight reads, so there's not really a need to go over them again, is there? Huh? I ask you. I give this attack a 7 out of 10 because it's only good in one situation, but it does that job really well, so it's pretty neat. Neutral air causes Ulgrim to do this swiping motion in the air, and it's pretty neat. This attack is actually kind of ridiculous in the air because it's fast as all frick while still having quite a bit of distance, making it literally impossible to punish in the air. It's also very, very spammable, allowing you to be a jackass or just juggle someone in the air for about 5 minutes if you get the timing down. Another surprisingly useful place to use this attack is on the edge. Due to how the hitbox works and stuff, you can kind of hit people on the ledge while you're on the ground and go quite a bit of a ways away. It's not quite like bow recovery or anything, but it's pretty useful. I give this attack a mother freaking 9 out of 10 because it's a really good attack. Side air causes Ulgrim to do a swiping motion, this time, you guessed it, to the side. This thing has probably the most punting potential in Axe's kit due to the relative ease and unpunishability of this attack, as long as you don't land on the ground while using it. There aren't really any strings or combos or anything, since your primary use of this is just as a punt. So instead I'm just going to talk about reading people who are punted to the side. Alright, so now for punting, you have to keep in mind that side air is an extremely committal attack. When you're off the ground like this, you have your like recovery frames really show, and you have quite a bit of like downtime after you can move again. As I'm spamming spacebar the second I land a side air. But neutral air, neutral air and down air, however, are just completely fair game unless you're using it in a terrible position to begin with. Just because the hitbox is so goddamn massive that like the chances of someone hitting through this is just near zero. It has to be a very specific attack for it to do that. Like maybe like a scythe down air, I would say. Something like that really like gets in between a lot of attacks. A lance down air also comes to mind and shit like that. But if you're trying to do a low risk in the air kind of read, I would stick to neutral air and down air, as well as ground pound every now and then. Just because ground pound reads a lot of things, and it's really hard to punish unless they have the timing down since you're in the air. But yeah, the more committal attacks are side air and recovery. But yeah, if they're gonna jump in the air, then do a recovery. If they're falling down and you think they're just gonna keep falling down, or they're going to do like a spot dodge read or go downwards in some way, then a side air can be appropriate to get that killing blow off the edge. And then otherwise, just stick to neutral air and down air. The only real string that I could think of for this attack is landing on the ground while doing a side air and then immediately following that up with a side light. I give this attack an 8 out of 10, baby. Down air does the neutral air motion, but downwards. Wow, call the fucking police. We got a deviant one over here. Since it's similarly fucking bitch. Since it's similarly fast and whatnot, since it's basically the same attack as neutral air, and so therefore it's just as fast, it'd be very difficult to punish it if it wasn't for gravity working against it. It's still quite a bananas attack though. Just not as much as neutral air. Alright, so I'm about to tell you one of the most bullshit fucking mechanics I've ever come across in this game, just period, okay? It is just so ridiculous that it's not even funny. Someone decided to give this down air a brand new hitbox when you're landing on the ground. And now, get this, it lands behind you. So, I've had so many fucking times, like literally once a game at least, where I would just down air like a dumbass in the wrong spot and then just completely like just shit on someone because this attack is just they decided why does it hit behind you? I don't understand. Why is it so? I don't know. It's great. It's low to the ground when it does land on the ground, but that doesn't stop you when they're not expecting you to somehow fucking hit you when you're not supposed to. You're not. You're just not. It's great. It's bonkers. It's actually fucking hysterical. You can also kind of juggle people on the ground similar. No, not okay. You can also kind of juggle people on the ground with down air, kind of like neutral air, but it's a lot harder to pull off, but way more toxic if you do. I give this attack an 8 out of 10. Here's recovery. You've probably seen it before and hated it instantly. I know I did, cause shit, dude. This is an incredibly toxic attack. You're basically surrounding yourself in active frames that are a little bit on the larger side, I would say, while being able to accidentally gift someone if they happen to get hit in just the right spot and make them throw their goddamn controller across the room. The only real time anybody gets the opportunity to punish this attack is at the end, and that's only if you happen to land at a convenient spot for them to do so. Otherwise, you can just dodge right out of it without any issues whatsoever because the recovery frames aren't really that bad, even though it's called a fucking recovery attack. It's overall pretty neat, I'd say. Now, all of the reads for this attack are all just punt reads, so refer to the cider part of the video for some nice recovery reads, you feel me? Do I even need to score this attack? Do I? It is a 10 out of 10, okay? It is an Anthony Fantano out of 10. Alright? A melon out of 10. Now, here is Ground Pound, who, just like its older brother Recovery, is complete fucking bullshit. Once again, you've completely surrounded yourself in active frames, but this time, your movement is much more restricted, which is kind of a blessing and a curse at the same time. This is easily one of the most spammable attacks in Axe's kits, and probably in the game as well. So spam it. Spam the ever-living shit out of it, because it's hard to read, it's fast, and it's hard to punish. Though you probably already realized this after showing you about the 50,000 different inwards dodge reads you can do with this attack. One note though is to avoid the ground as much as possible when you're using this attack, because unlike side air, your attack just kind of gets cancelled, and instead of your present being a backwards facing attack, you just get a lot more recovery frames instead, making yourself a bit of a sitting duck if you happen to do this. Otherwise, you know, just spam away. Just like jump Ground Pound over and over again, and honestly, you can probably get pretty far with Axe with this. I also give this attack a 10 out of mother freaking 10, because it's more hilarious than Recovery and equally as good. Alright, now let's talk about the Ulgrim signature abilities, or SIGs, that he has to offer on Axe. Alright, we're talking about signatures, baby. Here's his neutral SIG. This thing is really fast, and the active frames on that little hitbox there are very nice. And one thing you can do is follow it up like that, or you can even do it with a sidelight as well. And so since you hit downwards like this, I would stick to the edge a little bit and land that, and then bam, that's the bottom right of the map, which gives you a lot of possibilities to get like a weapon throw, or like a side air, a down air, a ground pound, all that other horse shit that can get that kill. And then it's also very good for ledge guarding, because it's just such a fucking fast attack, and if they're trying to like recovery up the ledge real quick or something like that, especially against something like a lance, this catches them midair very well. And it's very hard for them to commit unless you're going against a lance. For a side sig, you do this big ass animation here. And obviously this is great for killing because it's a signature ability. But the hitbox is not really that big. It's a fast attack, especially for like Ulgrim's like 3 dexterity ass. But this is not something you're going to want to just like lay out every now and then, because it's so fucking slow and all that shit that if you don't hit it, then you're getting fucking comboed into oblivion, basically. And now, for the best attack in Ulgrim's fucking kit, this down sig. This down sig is fucking massive. It is absolutely ginormous, and there's a million applications for it. Literally just put this down whenever you want, and you can hit a lot. I also would recommend like sliding off the edge like that, and to do that, you just dodge while you're falling off to get outwards, and then if you want inwards, you just have to time it better, basically. And like, look at how much that covers. That even covers like your feet. And so it's a very nice attack. And then like, even for like reading purposes, if I can do it right, holy shit, bro, there it is. You can do some avant-garde kind of read shit like that. I can't land it because I am a fucking horse, apparently. So Axe is an incredibly slow weapon, even if it feels way too fast when you're playing against it. Recovery frames are the norm, and being punished is practically mandatory. This component of Axe is only further exasperated due to Ulgrim's very, very low dexterity, regardless of how useless of a stat people say dexterity is. This forces you to play pretty damn methodical when you're playing Axe, instead of acting like a dipshit you can just get out of anything like Nyx or Artemis players do. If you throw out side airs just whenever for the hell of it, you're probably not going to have a good time. You need to think about why you're attacking in the moment and what the chances are that you'll actually get a positive trade out of whatever you're going to do. Luckily for you, Axe is slow enough that you can manage your risk tolerance in real time while playing the game. You can also just spam neutral light and ground pound if you want, but that's not very fun now, is it? Yes, it is. It's actually a lot of fucking fun. On the flip side of the coin, however, you get an incredibly versatile and intuitive weapon that can oftentimes completely wipe out a guy in seconds if you land your reads correctly, which just makes this weapon so goddamn satisfying to use when you start to get the hang of it. Just make sure you get the absolute most out of the hits you do land and read the motherfuckers like a book, and you'll have an alright time. You hear me? So now, on to Lance we go. Get ready, baby, for a good time, okay? Once again, skip this part of the video if you're already a big Lancer. Lancer? I barely even know her kind of person. Otherwise, stick around, stay a while, and learn something new, you feel me? So this is Neutral Light. It's a little pokey poke attack that has quite a bit of active frames, making it actually pretty difficult to punish for ground opponents, making it quite spammable in the neutral game. It can also work as a decent bait to get the other guy close to you, so then you can frick some Schneitzer up. You feel? You feel me? Yeah. You feel me. You feel me, alright? Besides all of that jazz, it's also a fantastic tool for edge guarding. So when you're following up Neutral Light, besides that simple string, you can also try to go in for a read, jump down air, or try to jump side air, or try to do a jump down air, I guess, if you're doing a spot dodge, something like that. Or you can even do this. Actually, no, I already showed that. But you can just sit right here. I'm pretty sure you mentioned that. No, I did not. Just downlight immediately if they're trying to like attack you or dodge inwards or some shit like that. And that's about it. I wouldn't really try anything else besides that. You know, maybe try one of those or something. Go into a side sig, but we're going to talk about the sigs later. And the most famous part of the video, baby, I give this attack a good old 7 out of 10, baby. This right here is Sidelight. It reaches a surprisingly far distance in front of you with this lunging motion. This also makes it a pretty committal attack due to a moderate amount of recovery frames and low active frames, making this an attack you primarily want to use as a grounded punish or read more than an engage. The trade-off, however, is quite a few options provided to you if you indeed do happen to land this attack. Let's talk about those, huh? So, you have a few Sidelight True combos, including Sidelight Neutral Air, which is a very bread and butter kind of Sidelight combo that has a bit of read potential at the end. Another combo is Sidelight Down Air, which you can also use to read with. Particularly, jump reads are nice on this attack. Finally, you have Sidelight Gravity Cancel Neutral Light. A good string is Sidelight Side Air, which is only really usable at higher damages, which is really the only time you want to use it anyway, since it serves as a pretty great punt rather than like a setup for a read or something like that. Alright, so this is Sidelight as I said, and 99% of the time you're going to be following this up with like a Neutral Air, because you like your true combos. But I like Neutral Air because it gets you a lot of potential to read because they're in this weird awkward spot where they can dodge anywhere. And so you can like do another Neutral Air if they're going to dodge inwards. Or if they're going to jump above you, you jump side air and then you're punching them off. If they're going to dodge downwards, you jump down air. Or no, don't jump down air. That's a spot dodge read. You down air after it. Oh my god, can I learn how to play the game? Like one of those, and then you'll hit just barely down there. But once you land that, you can follow it up with a Sidelight and like start stringing this fucking shit together, if I can land the string. Like that shit. Because you just read their dodge, so you get to just go ham on them. Another very popular thing to do is recovery immediately after for a jump read or a dodge upwards read. And then for like a side or like diagonal read, people like to turn around and do a recovery, and that'll land perfectly onto them. And that can kill a lot if that's a, you know, it's a great read. Wonderful read. You could probably land some weird, like, gravity cancel Sidelight thing. Like that. And then you have a lot of fun things you can do there because they have no dodge. That's about all I have for the Sidelight Neutral Air kind of thing. For Sidelight Down Air, once again, just jump side air if you think you're going to dodge upwards or jump. But more often than not, usually what I'm going for is like another Sidelight and then into the Neutral Air combo and just getting a shitload of damage, a metric shitload of damage. And it's very nice. Besides that, you can also hit them with the down air if they're trying to like immediately attack you or dodge inwards. And I also give this attack a 7 out of 10. Baby. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Now for downright, which is the good old jabate move, which is cool and stuff. It's pretty damn fast, which allows it to serve its purpose quite nicely. You can still get punished by someone who times their attack well enough, so don't use it, you know, completely freely. But, you know. Yeah. Due to its range, it's honestly not that great, but you can do some stuff with it if you like. Usually after you land a downlight, like the recovery frames on downlight, like... Actually, wait, that's not too bad of it. Okay, I think you can only get 6 after that, but... And so maybe that won't get dodged out of all the time, but, I don't know, it depends on what rank you are, I guess. But usually I just kind of don't do much after I land a down air just because of the amount of recovery frames. If anything, I'll go for like a jump read or like a spot dodge read where I jump and do a down air. And if I get their dodge then I'm just gonna go to fucking town on them, basically. You know, some fun shit like that or something, I would have jumped side air and killed, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be, I guess. I give this attack a below average 4 out of 10. Wah wah, wah wah wah, wah 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 wah. Neutral air is here, and here it is. Here it will always be. This attack took a page out of Axe's book and has a similar surrounding yourself in active frames kind of thing going on. And yeah, it's pretty awesome, if you ask me at least. I don't know about you. This attack is also similarly unpunishable in the air unless someone is directly under you, as there are only really a few select moves out there that have longer range than you. Also, watch out for diagonals, but those are a lot harder to get punished by. I've already talked about really every kind of read you can do to follow up this attack, so I'm just going to tell you to refer to the other parts of the video if you'd like to learn more about that, you jackass. I give this attack a 9 out of 10, and the only reason why it's not a 10 out of 10 is because the bottom part of you is hidden. I mean, not hidden, just does not have active frames, so you can still get hit. Now, here's everybody's favorite spam move, including myself. Side air. There's just something about the timing, the active frames, everything about this attack that's just so good and so damn satisfying to use. I love it, okay? I love it. You also just have to love that meaty, like fleshy sound that Lance makes when you land this as well. It's just so awesome. I love it. I love it. So following up side air isn't really always optimal. What I would recommend though is when you're like on the ground and land a side air, like, just follow that shit up with, like, a side light or something, because it's a pretty low dodge frame string. I think you can honestly get 4. With deck stance, maybe you can get 4. I don't know. Okay, well, now I'm getting 8. But, I like to follow it up with that often, and that works decently well in, like, plat and gold area. I've never really hit high plat or anything, so I don't know how it works over there. But to my expertise, it works at that point. Besides that, it's mainly just the ability to send someone flying over in the corner, or not the corner, the side of the map. And at that point, you're getting a in the air kind of read stuff, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay? It's got to be a 10 out of 10. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Down air, side air, but it goes down, bro. It goes down. So just nice, but in a different direction. Wow. Now for down air, it's also the same kind of shit. Just follow it up with a side light normally, or sometimes I'll jump up and do this. I've already talked about all the down air reads really with side light down air. So if you want to learn more and in more detail, then go to the side light part of the video. Wowzers. Recovery is this thing. You can hold it down for a very long time, longer than what people expect sometimes, allowing you to make them accidentally run into it, which is pretty funny. This recovery also has quite a bit of force, making it pretty decent at killing people. You also go quite a long distance when you use this attack, making the sky practically your playground when you combine this with side air. And no distance is really too far away from the edge, if you ask me. Finally, since you're basically stationary while you're doing this attack, make sure you aren't lining yourself up to get ground pounded or something. That's really the only time where I can see, you know, the recovery, charge up, whatever, being an issue. You know, I give this attack a 9 out of 10 because you can still punish it, right? But it's still a very nice attack. Once again, recovery kind of sends people flying, so it's not exactly like a read ability. So I wouldn't really try to read much with it, because also the recovery frames are very long, or not very long, but just long enough to where you're not really getting like a string out of it or anything like that. But just keep in mind that recovery is a very practical jump read. So if you don't know if you're just turning your brain off and, oh, they're gonna jump, just land a recovery. That was not a recovery. And then you're good. Ground pound is a very fucking fast attack that will frick up a guy if you land this in the air. However, with great power comes great responsibility. And if you miss this attack or just put it in a bad spot, then you're going to get punished, and you're going to get punished very hard because the recovery frames is about an hour long. In particular, try to stay away from the ground with this attack since you get even more recovery frames if you land on the ground with it. I'd also shy away from using this attack low on the map since you go such a far distance before you get the chance to move again that you'll probably just die before you even get the chance to, like, get the fuck out. Since this attack is so damn fast, you can get away with random jumping down a ledge and ground pounding attacks while they're just on the wall, and since a lot of people won't be able to react in time, you get a pretty good chance at landing this, which is very nice, and it's also very difficult to punish in this position unless they're expecting it. Alright, here's the one string on fucking on ground pound. There you go. I don't have anything for this shit, okay? I'm sorry. Alright, so now let's talk about being in the air. So when someone's in the air, it's a very simple kind of process, okay? If you're trying to kill the guy, and they're about to jump, and they're like over here, right? What I like to do is just do a jump side air as my jump read more often than the recovery, because I don't like the idea of using my recovery as like an engage or an attack kind of thing. And I'd prefer to save it until after my jump read, because whenever you're side airing, you're not like using something that you have to wait and have a cooldown on. If they're gonna go below you, do a down air, obviously. And another thing you can do if you're like preferably like on the stage more than on the side, if they're gonna go above you, is land a neutral air. And then recovery is also a lot more practical on the actual stage area of the map compared to outside of the map, if you're trying to land a jump read with recovery. And even at that point, it's nice too, because, well, you're closer to the sky than you're closer to the sides in this middle part. So I'd probably actually just focus on recovery as a jump read when I'm on the stage area. Now, if they're going inside of you, then you're just gonna have to do neutral air or try to dodge it, basically. And then that's just the general gist, okay? If they're going in front of you, side air. If they're gonna go above you, jump, side air, recovery, or neutral air. And if they're going to go below you, do a down air. And that is literally that's like 80% of Lance right there, okay? Just turn your brain off and think of those three things, and then you're like halfway there, basically. All right, baby, let's talk about the signatures. So here is recovery. Similar to Axe, it's a very fast attack. This one might be a little less punishable because you're jumping in the air, and it's also, I feel like the recovery frames are faster on it. And it's this nice little swiping motion. The hitbox is actually pretty decently well. I like to use a lot of recoveries on the edge right here as a, like, get back on stage kind of read or an inwards dodge read. And then just in general practice is also a very good inwards dodge read. Let me have him dodge for me. So, like, bam, bam, you see? And then like a diagonal. It's a really good diagonal read, basically. Besides that, it's still like you're just a kind of average neutral sig, so there's not really much to say about it. So your side sig is this, and it's very similar to Axe recovery. Alright, Axe side sig. It's like basically the same motion. This one feels even slower than side sig on Axe. Basically, don't just use it willy-nilly. Make sure you have their dodge, or you like have some kind of plan for why you're using it, instead of just, oh, they're in front of me, monkey bit brain go sig. And you'll do alright with this sig. And now for the good old debate, down sig here. I don't see like any reason whatsoever to use down air when you have this sig, essentially. Besides the fact that it's more punishable, but like, you can hold this shit for so long, and even then afterwards it's pretty hard to like time and punish. Some people like to just kind of sit it on the edge there. I prefer just to kind of XD troll with it, because the hitbox is actually really far away from you. Like, there's not a lot of shit that can hit through this, and a lot of people don't really expect that from the sig. And also the hitbox just feels abnormally big. You see that, like how I caught that guy in a really weird spot and shit. It's a very nice attack, but it definitely has its very like specific use cases that you kind of have to play by ear with, because it's not something I want to throw out just all the time. But when I do throw it out, it's usually a pretty rewarding experience for me. It's a very fruitful endeavor. You feel me? While Lance is slow, just like Axe, it's also a lot more brain dead. I call it a noob stomper for a reason, and that's because it takes very little skill to be at least proficient enough to play competitively in lower elo with it. While a lot of weapons have higher skill ceilings, if you want the absolutely easiest way to get out of silver or gold, just pick up Lance for a little bit and you'll probably climb elo pretty fast, especially since a lot of people find this as like a very fun rage weapon to play against. so you can just destroy mental by literally just fucking playing the game. Besides being easy, it's also a very flowy feeling weapon when you decide to actually add, a little bit of intent behind your attacks. I recommend primarily using Lance as a read weapon since it's just so damn intuitive to do it like that. Just use the basic reading scheme of recovery / neutral air if they go above you, side air if they're going to be in front of you, and down air if they're going to be below you, and that's like at least half of the weapon when you're trying to read with it. I can't give any more really specific tips other than that though. Just play it a couple times and it should come pretty naturally to you. Well, actually that's a lie because I do have some specific tips. So when you're in a sticky situation, the best advice I can honestly give you is just to play like a passive little bitch, because Lance excels so well at punishing people because the distance that your side air and down air go is just unbelievable and unmatched, and the punishability is just really low on it as well. Makes it a very good like passive floaty weapon. And so I highly suggest doing that if you want to fucking just swallow your pride and win some games, I guess. Another thing is that this weapon becomes a lot less viable in higher elo. I'd say like around mid-plat and higher is when people start understanding the concept of understanding how the game works and stuff. And so at that point, you're gonna need a lot more practice with the weapon and kind of understand the weapon at a deeper level than just, whatever the fuck, to do well. And so, but until then, honestly, just like fucking just go for it. And I think that you're better off just doing that than trying to memorize a million combos and strings, even though that this video might want to lead you to believe that that is the way to do it. Anyway, that's about all I have to say about Lance. It's a very good weapon. It's a very good noob stomper. It's a good starter weapon too. Just don't use it as a crutch. Because it will bite you in the ass later, and then you have to learn other weapons. Like every other Lance Legend, Ulgrim is pretty great. Lance Legends in general are a great way to start out in this game and learn, as long as you don't continue to use Lance as a crutch forever, just due to the ease of access of Lance, which allows you to spend more of your time focusing on the more difficult axe weapon, other than focusing on two different weapons at once. Ulgrim, however, is a painfully slow legend, regardless of how amazing of a kit he has, but makes up for it in high stats and everything else. If you were to say, Tyler, should I play Ulgrim? Should I? Is this my calling? I would give you a big yes, and 2 thumbs up. Absolutely, let's go, in response. Because he's good, he's fun, he's awesome, he's cool, and he's got a cool beard. This guy hits the spot, and I recommend you play him, baby. Oh yeah.